Hey everyone, I'm Devin, your friendly neighborhood board gamer. This is Devin Talks Tabletop, the YouTube channel where the games are made up. What I say doesn't matter. Today I'm here to talk about Leviathan Wilds. This is a game that I got to play online with Justin, who is part of Mooncrab Games. This is the publisher that is bringing this to Kickstarter. It's currently live right now, and I post-travel, post-COVID, have the ability to talk now and have a little bit of energy. So I wanted to be sure to give a shout out to this game because I had a good time playing it and I wanted to share a little bit about my experience with a first impressions video. This is most easily associated with Shadow of the Colossus. And what I mean by that, if you're not familiar with the PlayStation kind of classic game that did get a little bit of a revitalization with a remake that came out, or what do they call it whenever they remaster, I guess, in terms of improving the graphical look of the game and everything and just kind of tweaking and polishing. And what I mean by that is in Leviathan Wilds, similar to Shadows of the Colossus, there are these great entities, these colossal beings that roam the land. And in Leviathan Wilds, they're sick. They have been afflicted with this blight, and we as climbers do this perilous task of climbing, jumping, gliding all over the, rocky outcroppings, the big monolithic limbs and pieces of these beings. And then our goal is to remove the blight, is to take away this sickness, both in these, normal and then both blight afflicted crystals and locations on the creature until they can be healed and freed from that terrible disease. And it's interesting because in Shadows of Colossus, it's very much you are taking down these creatures, you're killing them. And in this, it is much less violent. It's much more of a rescue operation. So think of kind of the rescue climbers that exist in the world that go save people in perilous locations. And that's kind of what's happening here. And what's unique about this game, I think, is the combination of both the different characters that you can be, the particular cards that they bring into play, the style of climber that they are, whether it's the Mystic, who's also a free climber, or the Kestrel. Let me put the Mystic where they're supposed to be. Or the Kestrel that is also the Mender. And the combination of the characters and their class style that you get to mix into one deck is pretty unique. But you're also going up against up to 15 different colossuses, or these large beings that you're going to. This is on page 8. This is the Collector, which is a difficulty 3 out of 4. As you can see, there are a lot of dice on this, and the white ones are the normal pressure points that you have to go relieve, and then the blue ones are blight-infested sections that you can just recklessly or abandoning caution go after those, but you do sometimes want to be mindful of the protection that you'll need in order to take those down, or it can start to increase your own blight. And if your own blight and your health ever meet together, you as a climber are defeated. On the board here, you can see a lot of different symbols and iconography going on. If it is a regular circular pip like this, that is just a normal climb point. If it has a yellow outline like this is like a slippery or difficult area that is going to cause you to lose grip unless you spend grip from your hand. And then these damaged spots here outlined in red, these are areas that will hurt you along the climb if you are not careful or if you do not avoid it in some other fashion. And then these sections right here with kind of a white outline and an under, like a bolded line underneath it, those are ledge points. Those are areas in which you can climb to and then be safe. As you can see in the ground, if you fall all the way to the ground, you can stand on the ground, that's fine. But these ledges are little kind of safe checkpoints almost in terms of the physical exploration, or traversing on terms of the Colossus as to where you might want to stop and hold your breath or catch your breath if you want to. So every single class, like the Kestrel here and the Mystic, they have their own cards that will go into the deck, which can also then be added to whatever the class style that they are. So the Mender in this case. And then if you ever do gain any injuries, they have the same back to them. So those bad cards will come into play as well. But these are like multi-use cards. These are combo cards where you have in the top left, you have the AP cost that they give you. And what that means is that's how many actions you can perform depending on the cost of the actions. And that is just using the card for that benefit. And you only get to place one of these for the use of its action points. You can also spend as many of your cards as you want, though, on their abilities. So if you can see this Ride the Wind ability on placeholder art, which is delightful. I love that even the art for placeholder art is artistic. But this Ride the Wind, which is a Kestrel specific card that you get, if you see where your climber is, so I am currently here and I'm going to get damaged to some extent there. However, I could potentially escape it. If you can see, this is the current threat of the monster, and it's going to actively smash into this spot and any of these surrounding zones. So if I match that up with where my movement is able to be handled here, practically everything that this hits is on this targeting range as well, except for these two outlier spots. And so what I could do is I could use this card for its AP cost, but I could also use it for its movement ability, in which case if I follow through with this, I could either Ride the Wind and soar up to this spot right here where this blight-infested crystal is, or I could safely glide my way down, spanning that gap, by the way, and latch on to this other leg of this massive, scary crab or hermit crab, and that will actually escape the damage zone. So no matter what I'm doing, I could potentially make it out of there using either the card ability that I have, or I could even just use it with good old movement. And so, for example, I have this card here, Twin Talons, which I could use for its AP cost or its ability. I'm going to use it for its AP cost. And so, because it's got this yellow symbol here, which matches this means that if I if I traverse over a section that has that grip, I actually won't lose a grip. I have kind of protection against it based off of this card. And so what I could do is I can just climb, and I could climb one space, and I could climb two spaces, and then I could climb a third space up to here. And what that does is that allows me to climb 3 spaces, and then I will have avoided the danger zone of this card simply by using my action points. If we're talking about action points, I can climb, I can jump up to 2 spaces for a cost of 3, which might allow you, it's not as efficient, but if you need to avoid a grip or a damage zone or even a blighted crystal that you're not ready for yet, you could fully jump. I could just move up 1 and then jump 2 up to this spot where this mushroom is, because mushrooms give you one-time abilities that you can activate at other times. And so using your AP is important to be as efficient as possible, because you need to be clearing these normal crystals and you need to be carefully clearing these blighted crystals to help free the massive entity from the disease that they are suffering from. And they are gentle giants whenever they're not enraged from both the invasive aspects of climbers all over them and the blight that they are suffering from. So the narrative of this is once you are able to cleanse or clear off all of these crystals and, painful adhesions to the creatures, that they will return to their, domicile state. They're calm, not domesticated. They're wild, massive colossi, but they will not hurt you once you finish your task. So this is a solo and cooperative game, and what I like about it is kind of like the programming or math of how you have to figure out where best to use your resources. Sometimes you really shouldn't use a card for its AP if it has a really good ability that you might need to save. Sometimes you need to combine and really expend all of your cards and use them for both AP and abilities to perform kind of like a mega turn in clearing off some crystals and doing a lot of other stuff. There's so much that's going on, but also each collector plays differently. And you can scale up the difficulty of the game to where they start higher and higher on the enraged track or the rage track. And over the course of the game, when they get enraged, you'll actually have cards that will flip from the regular to the higher and more rage-filled version of the activation. And so these threat cards can get nastier and nastier over the course of the round. What you do is, the reason why I had this here is because you technically reveal a threat at the beginning of your turn, then you activate your climber, and then you resolve the threat. It's a little bit of foresight, a little bit of prescience, where you as the climber can see this big colossus gearing up for some sort of an attack, and you're able to get out of the way. You always signify what's going to be the center of the hit, the center of the area of effect attack that the colossi is doing, and then you can move out of the danger zone based off of your AP, based off of the actions that you have here. But you do need to be mindful that you, as you play cards, you'll discard them. And then that slowly pulls away from your deck, which is your grip as well. And so sometimes you can take hits, or you can go over spots that make you lose your grip. And all of that stuff will cause you to fall. Falling will hurt you. You will take damage whenever you fall. You'll also take damage going over these damage spots if you don't protect yourself. You'll also gain blight if you are not careful when you're attacking these particular crystals here. You can also gain blight and gain damage whenever the monster hits you if you don't get out of the way. So while it may seem like you are this nimble, agile fiend that launches themselves to and fro on these big creatures, you can get hit, and you can get hit hard and heavy and fast whenever you're not paying attention. There are interesting characters that do different things. For example, this mystic allows you to just completely soothe and skip the resolution of a threat phase, which is awesome. I didn't play with this one when I played online. And the combination of all of these different climbers that you have here, you have Fix, you have Hazard, you have Brick, you have Cheer, and then you have Kestrel and Mystic. And they are very, very interesting to play with because they just function so differently based off of their main power that you can activate. And they also have unique cards that you will fold into whatever your style of climbing is. I think the combination of the characters, their abilities, their cards that you can lock in, the type of climber that you can be, and then the particular colossus that you're going after makes it to where these Leviathans are a lot of fun. I really like the puzzle of it, and as a solo and cooperative game, it does a lot that works for me. So this is from the designer of Imperial Assault. This is from Mooncrab Games. This is Leviathan Wilds. It is on Kickstarter right now. You can go ahead and check it out. If you have any questions, let me know, but I did have a good time playing this, and I wanted to make sure I could share it with you. Hope you have a good one. See you next time. Bye.